Just imagine, you become so beautiful that as soon as you leave the house, girls start getting attracted to you. They can't control themselves because of your beauty. This is what happens in our story today. The story begins with the Moss family, who were among the most beautiful people of the last generations. People loved them because of their beauty, and this was how they earned their money. Their eldest son is a TikTok star. His attractive face was the reason for his millions of followers. Apart from this, he also helped set up girls with normal boys. His father Parker was also extremely handsome in his time, breaking girls' hearts every other day. He dated more than 1,200 girls and finally found the mother of his children. His mother was also very beautiful, but a bit masculine in appearance. Oh, and she had a mustache too. His younger brother, Kulin, is the most beautiful in the house. The whole family was proud of their beauty, but Kulin wanted them to live a normal life. He often thought that if he were a little less attractive, there wouldn't be crowds of girls chasing him every time he went out. The moment girls saw a glimpse of his beautiful face, they would lose control. Some would get nosebleeds, while others would pull out their hair in excitement. As a result, Kulin had never been able to talk to any girl. He stayed indoors most of the time and was still studying from home. Kulin had no one to talk to except his fish. He would play cards while talking to them. His family was worried about his behavior. They would show him pictures of beautiful girls and encourage him to go out and study. But Kulin would always say that he wanted a girl who didn't care about his looks. He wanted someone who liked him for his heart. When no other option worked, the family came up with a new plan. They pretended to be poor, hoping this would force Kulin to attend school. One night, when Kulin got up for water, he overheard his parents talking about only eating eggs for breakfast to save money for his education. Hearing this, he felt guilty and decided to go to school the next morning. The family celebrated when they heard this. However, Kulin added that he would only attend an all-boys school. This upset everyone a little, but they agreed, happy that he was at least stepping outside. On his first day of school, his older brother Okus dropped him off on a bike. Even after getting off the bike, Kulin wore a helmet to keep his beauty hidden. But this backfired. The helmet drew more attention, and a boy named City came over to tease him. When the teacher arrived, he asked Kulin to remove the helmet. Reluctantly, Kulin took it off, and everyone saw his angelic face. The teacher fainted upon seeing him and was rushed to the hospital. Kulin ran straight home, but the naughty boys caught him on the way. They dragged him into a storeroom and began introducing themselves like superheroes. They had stayed in school for the past 3 years, hoping to attend the party of the most beautiful girl in BBM school, Amanda. Amanda only listened to handsome boys, so they decided to use Kulin as their mediator. They also forced a decent boy named Kibo to join their group. Later, Kulin went to the principal to report the misbehaving boys. The principal, frustrated with his son, asked Kulin to get Amanda from the school so she could leave. That night, Kibo and Kulin made a plan to find Amanda the next day. Kibo became a good friend to Kulin, making him very happy. The next morning, they arrived at BBM school, where the girls were screaming, "Take off your helmet, boy. You must look awful." The girls forced Kulin to remove his helmet. When he did, the whole school went into chaos. A few hours later, the news was on TV, reporting that girls were going crazy over Kulin. Some had nosebleeds, while others were throwing up from excitement. The school's most beautiful girl, Amanda, also fell in love with him after seeing the news and decided that Kulin would be hers. As the news spread, thousands of girls gathered outside Kulin's house. His family started selling tickets to let them in and make money. Seeing this, Kulin realized that his family was using him. He refused to return home. The sight of so many girls made him feel sad about his fish's poor condition. He escaped to the rooftop of a building, hiding from the crowd of girls searching for him. Suddenly, a girl appeared behind him and said, "You're not planning to jump, are you?" Kulin was shocked and looked at her. She was the first girl who didn't faint at the sight of him. His heart started racing, and he couldn't even speak. The girl didn't say anything more and left. Later, he went to Kibo's house to spend the night. Kibo and his grandmother took good care of him. Kulin was very happy to see the rare cards in Kibo's room since he also loved collecting them. The next day, they went to the girls' school to find the girl from the rooftop. There, they met Amanda, and Kibo handed her a letter from the city. Amanda pretended not to be affected by Kulin's beauty, but as soon as she left, blood started coming from her nose. Kulin saw the rooftop girl again on the stairs, but he couldn't talk to her because of the crowd of girls surrounding him. Over the next few days, Kulin and Kibo became very close friends. One day, Kibo took Kulin to watch a football match, where he frequently went to meet a girl named Rear. Kibo liked Rear a lot. After the match, Kulin spotted the rooftop girl again. He couldn't stop staring at her. Kibo then introduced them, and Kulin discovered her name was Rear. Kulin realized that Kibo also liked Rear, Rear and Kibo were very close friends, and Kulin felt jealous seeing them together. He couldn't sleep properly that night, unsure of what to do. Finally, he remembered that his brother Okus was also a love guru. He decided to ask him for help. The next morning, Kulin went to Okus, who had been waiting to help him talk to girls for a long time. By this time, Kulin had forgiven his family, realizing that if he hadn't gone outside, he would have never met Rear. Then the two brothers went shopping, and Okus advised Kulin on how to woo Rear. Kulin followed his advice, but soon realized he didn't know Rear as well as he thought. However, he wasn't ready to give up. One day, Amanda invited Kulin to her birthday party. She also gave him her number, saying, "Call me Babu." In the evening, Kibo, Kulin, and Rear went out for a walk. Kulin noticed that Rear liked Kibo too, which made him feel jealous. Later, when Kibo left, Kulin asked Rear directly if she liked Kibo. At first, Rear denied it, but when Kulin lied, saying that Kibo loved Amanda, Rear's face fell. It became clear that Rear liked Kibo. After returning home, Kulin called Amanda and asked for her help. Amanda, being deeply in love with Kulin, agreed to do anything for him. The next day, Kulin and Kibo arrived at Amanda's birthday party. Unexpectedly, Amanda began paying more attention to Kibo. She pulled him aside, and soon after, Rear arrived at the party. She saw Amanda kissing Kibo and ran away heartbroken. Kulin followed her and confessed his feelings. However, Rear told him that she only saw him as a friend. Kulin had betrayed his only friend and didn't win the girl. What could be worse than this? Meanwhile, City and his gang saw Kibo and Amanda kissing, and they beat Kibo up out of jealousy. Kulin watched from afar, too scared to help. Later, he took Kibo home. Seeing his friend in pain, Kulin realized his mistake. Kulin finally confessed everything to Kibo. Kibo was shocked and said that if he had known that Kulin liked Rear, he would have stepped back. But after the betrayal, Kibo didn't want to be friends anymore. Kulin returned home and locked himself in his room for a month, not speaking to anyone. He missed his friend deeply. His mother brought him his fish, which were safe. After talking to his mother, Kulin realized how much his family loved him. He decided he would make things right with Kibo. The next morning, Kulin went to Rear and told her the truth. Then he went to Kibo to apologize. At first, Kibo kept his distance, but Kulin reminded him how much he loved Rear. Later, it was revealed that Rear had been listening to their conversation on the phone. Finally, all the misunderstandings were cleared up. A few days later, they all attended a dance party where Kibo's partner was Rear, and Kulin's partner was Amanda. Kulin and Amanda were crowned the dance king and queen, with all the girls cheering for them on stage. Then a girl's voice came from the crowd, saying, "He's not that good looking." Hearing this, Kulin's heart raced, and he began searching for the mysterious girl. So, if you were beautiful for a day, what would you do? Let me know in the comments.